These are the people of Crystal Cruises. Your colleagues who staff the deck, engine, and hotel departments of this ship. But no matter where you work, everyone shares one job in common: safety. Safety is everyone's job, everyone's responsibility. Nothing on board is more important than your safety, the safety of your colleagues, and the safety of all of our guests. Crystal Cruises is pleased to welcome you on board and has prepared the following to help familiarize you with the safety equipment and procedures of this ship. This video has been prepared to help you communicate with other persons on board on elementary safety matters. It will help you better understand safety information symbols, signs, and alarm signals. It will show you what to do if a person falls overboard, if the fire or abandoned ship alarm is sounded. It will help you identify emergency and abandoned ship stations and emergency escape routes. It will show you where to find and how to put on your life jacket, how to raise the alarm should you see a fire, and give you basic knowledge of the use of portable fire extinguishers. It will show you what to do upon encountering an accident or other medical emergency, and will show you the operation of fire and watertight doors found on board the ship. As you first come on board, you will be assigned a buddy. Your buddy is a person who's been on the ship for some time and will be able to help you find your way about the ship and clearly explain the things you need to know during your first few weeks on board. At the crew accounting office, you will be given printed information that deals with your duties and responsibilities. The safety officer will issue a card to be attached to your life jacket with specific information regarding your muster and abandoned ship stations and your duties in an emergency.
When you put a life jacket on, you put it over your head, put a long strap around your back, and you clip it in on the front. Tie it up and make sure it's secured. The next thing you do is to clip on the small strap just above the big one. Your life jacket is now equipped with a light that will be activated upon contact with water. You also have a whistle right on the other side of the life jacket. Both are to attract attention during nighttime and daytime. Also in front of your life jacket, you should have your emergency card displayed at all drills and in all emergencies. Your life jacket is furthermore equipped with reflective tape, the ship's name, and your cabin number.
Study the personal instruction card on your life jacket carefully and make sure you can find the locations indicated on the card. This is one of the things your buddy will help you do. Close to your cabin in a crew alleyway, a station bill and emergency plan are posted. Make sure you understand the instructions printed on both.
The station bill is located in all crew areas. It lists all the crew numbers on board, their position on board, where they meet in emergency, and if we have to abandon the ship, it lists their lifeboat or life raft station number. With the information you find on the station bill, you will be able to read the emergency plan and find your particular instruction. Furthermore, on the emergency plan, you will also find all listed instructions for passenger evacuation, fire and damage control, lifeboat and life raft preparation, and for the embarkation and abandoned ship situation. Also, on the emergency plan, you will find both alarm signals in effect on board. These are 7 short and 1 long blast, meaning fire or general emergency, and the abandoned ship signal of 1 continuously long blast.
This is the embarkation deck where the lifeboat and life raft stations are located. Find your station and remember it well. Inside an opening in the fiberglass cover of the raft is a large metal ring or shackle. The shackle is pulled out of the opening, and the quick release hook from the hand-operated life raft launching crane is attached to the raft. The raft is then hoisted on the crane and swung out over the side of the ship, held in position by the bowsing lines. The painter line, which is over 30 meters long and is stored inside the raft shell, is pulled Once nearly all the 30 meters of line is pulled from the raft, inflation will begin. These life rafts are launched by davits. If you cannot use the davits, you can throw them into the sea where they will automatically inflate. If you must jump in the water, you should never jump more than 5 meters. Here's the proper procedure for entering the water.
Cross your legs, cross your arms, all over the nose, take a big step forward. Okay, next one. Cross your legs, cross your arms, hand over the nose, take a big step forward.
Once you're in the water, to enter the life raft, put your foot in the strap, grab the handle, and pull yourself into the life raft. Here's how you can help injured or unconscious persons into the life raft using this technique. In the event the life raft overturns, it can be righted by turning the raft so that the compressed air bottles are downwind. And then the raft is righted as is now being demonstrated.
It's very difficult.
What you are hearing is the general alarm. 7 short and 1 long blast to the ship's bell or whistle. It will be sounded in the event of a fire or any emergency situation. When you hear the alarm, go to your cabin, put on warm clothing, your life jacket, and report to your general alarm station. After your name has been checked off, remain in the area until you receive further instructions. If the fire or situation should get out of hand, or in the event of a bomb threat or other emergency, you will hear the abandoned ship alarm. It's a continuous ringing of the ship's bell or ship's whistle. When you hear the alarm, report immediately to your lifeboat or life raft station. Most of all, stay calm. Do not panic. It is easier to prevent a fire than it is to fight one. Here, a carelessly tossed cigarette results in a serious fire on board. If you should see smoke coming from under a door, do not attempt to open it. Touch the door frame, and the walls to test for heat. Do not open the door. And report what you've observed immediately to the bridge. Call 3333. All emergencies should be reported to the bridge immediately. When you report an emergency, stay calm and be ready with the following information. Tell the bridge who you are, what type of emergency, and where the emergency is. If a telephone is not handy, you can alert the bridge by using a manual call point.
Manual call points like this can be found throughout the entire ship, in all guests and crew corridors, in all guest lounges, and in all major areas of the ship. If you see smoke or you see a fire on board the ship, activate the alarm by pressing this glass.
Sensors on the bridge will show exactly where the alarm came from, and help will be sent.
This is one of the sprinkler heads on board. In case of a fire, the red glass will burst and a water flow will come out from this pipe. The small ring on top of the sprinkler head will make sure that the water spreads evenly throughout the entire room. This is one of the smoke detectors on board. They detect smoke and some also detect heat. When they are set off, they will activate an alarm on the bridge and the duty officer will send somebody to investigate the cause of the alarm. What I'm going to show you now is a fire screen door. We have 2 types of fire screen doors on board, and this one is a double closing door. To close the fire screen door, first of all, make sure that nobody is about to pass through. You hit the button and you let the door close. This is a single fire door. A fire door is used to prevent the fire and the smoke to go from a fire zone to the next fire zone. To close this door, first of all, once again, have a look in the corridor if somebody is to pass through the door. Then you hit the button and the door closes.
The Crystal Symphony is divided into 6 vertical fire zones. Closing the fire screen and watertight doors in any of these zones will prevent smoke, fire, or flooding from advancing to any of the other zones. Remember, each zone has a stairway which will lead you up or down and out to safety. Even with all the fire screen and watertight doors closed, you can still make your way to your lifeboat or life raft station.
This is a watertight door. Watertight doors are located in the engine rooms, deck number 2 and deck number 3 on board. To close a watertight door, you operate this lever to a closed position. An alarm bell goes off and the door closes. At the same time, the door step will also move upwards. When the door is closing, do not, under any circumstance, pass through the door. If this electrically driven pump is not working, you can also use the handle located beside the door to manually pump the door to a closed position. Watertight doors are installed to prevent water from flooding between the sections on board in case we have an underwater damage after, for example, a collision or a grounding of the vessel. And this is a semi-watertight door on deck number 4, which prevents minor floodings between the sections. This door is a very slow operating door, and also you have to be careful with the door step as the door closes. The door is closed by pressing this button right up here.
For any fire to occur, what we need is 3 requirements. The 3 requirements are known as the triangle of combustion or the fire triangle. Those requirements are heat, fuel, and oxygen. If you take away any one of those requirements, be it fuel, heat, or oxygen, you will not have a fire. A fire will not occur. Here we have a 9-litre water extinguisher. On board Symphony, they are kept in all accommodation areas, be crew accommodation areas and guest accommodation areas. And there is a reason for that. This type of extinguisher is ideal for putting out solid fuel fires, i.e. wood fires. Furniture, carpets, curtains, bedding, linen, things like that. Water is ideal for them type of fires because water has a cooling effect. And with the cooling effect, we take away the heat element. Therefore, the triangle has collapsed and we will not have a fire. Place the extinguisher down on the floor, because if I try to operate it like this, okay, I'm squeezing down on the trigger, my adrenaline is running, and I'm trying to remove the pin. I can't, okay? And if I do eventually remove the pin, all will happen is I get my foot wet, okay? So I'm wasting water. So please, place it down on the floor. Kneel down behind the extinguisher, take out the hose, point it to the base or the seat of the fire. Take out the pin, place it on the floor, and then squeeze down on the trigger. Little figure of 8 movements like so. Okay? I reckon within about 10 to 15 seconds, I would have put out any fire by doing that. As soon as I take my finger off the trigger, the water stops to come out. Anyone tell me what that one is? Dry powder. Okay, dry powder. Again, it tells you what you can and what you cannot use it on. This time it says it's no good for wood fires or solid fuel fires, like organic materials, because this does not have a cooling effect. The powder will not cool down. This time it says yes, you can use it on burning liquids in the galley, deep fat fryers, greases and oils. As I've said, as you will see in the demonstration, the powder comes out very thick, very fast, and it will smother, form a layer over the burning fat, thereby starving it of oxygen. Just place the extinguisher on. No,
I'll just put it down?
Yeah, put it on there. Okay, move your tag. Yeah, just place that there like that, and move your pin. Okay, you'll see now how much powder comes out and the effect it would have on your visibility if you use it from... Keep it going, keep it going. Now, can you imagine that powder being in a confined compartment? Your visibility would drop straight away. Very important you know where your exit point is when using this one. Okay, especially for the girls in the pantries where they are. Right, always know where your exit point is. Anybody tell me what this one is? CO2, carbon dioxide. Remember this one, how long will we get with this one approximately? Approximately 20 seconds, okay? Again, as with all three that I've mentioned so far, if you raise the alarm, help will be on its way to you. 1 minute is a long time to put out a fire. You can achieve it, all right? So please raise the alarm at all times before you attempt to extinguish a fire. As I've said, with this one, 20 seconds. As soon as you squeeze the trigger, inside there is approximately 12 kilograms of liquid CO2 on top of the gas. It all wants to come through at once through great speed. So what happens, as I told you, the temperature inside the bottle and around drops to approximately minus 80 degrees Celsius, like very cold. And as you'll see with this one, we get a white band forming around here. All right, that is snow, that is ice. Don't ever touch it. These nuts and bolts arrangements here, they go white, all right, because that is also freezing over. This hose gets very cold, and the nozzle here, to about there, starts to freeze over as well. It goes white. If you put your hand there and operate this, when you go to take your hand away after the 20 seconds, you will leave 4 to 5 layers of skin on this nozzle. Please don't ever use it that way. The only place to operate this extinguisher from is by holding it there at the bottom of the nozzle or on the 2 red handles like that. Down on the floor, arm's length, and drag it along with you. Okay, yeah, point arm's length, arm's length. Oh, just point it over there. Now look where he's holding the extinguisher safely. He's not going to get injured. And hit it. Yeah. Go on, keep it going. Go on, keep it. Okay. Did you see how much came out? That would quite easily put out any fire, electrical fire. Foam. A foam inside these. There are only 5 of these on board the ship, and they are kept in the galleys. Okay, these are ideal, again, for putting out burning liquids, okay, like greases, oils, and fat. The fire is, say, down here. The best place to lay foam, okay, is actually at the top there. So the foam runs down onto the fire, okay, and that will surely extinguish the fire. Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Here's a brief recap of the fire extinguishers used on board. The CO2 extinguisher, painted black, is used for electrical fires. The red extinguisher is water and can be used on wood, carpet, sheets, and towels. The foam extinguisher, painted cream, can be used on wood, carpet, sheets, towels, and oil fires. And the dry powder extinguisher, painted blue, is best for electrical and oil fires.
Last but not least, ladies and gents, the fire blanket. Kept in the galleys, all right, and they are kept about that high on the wall. If there is a problem, then you can actually sight it quite easy. Some of them are in red covers, some of them are in white covers. They do exactly the same job, so don't be worried about the colour of the cover. To operate it, simply just take hold of the tapes and pull down, and out comes your fire blanket. As you can see with this one, the many demonstrations we've done with it, all right, it still has not yet penetrated through the material. It is a very good piece of kit if used correctly. The best way to operate this one is to put it out at arm's length and put your thumbs to the front of the blanket and your fingers behind the blanket. Then just by simply twisting around like that, you then got your arms offered full cover and your hands are offered full cover. Okay.
There is one further firefighting system on board. This is the fixed CO2 system, located in the engine room and the main galley areas.
The instructions are clearly written on every CO2 cabinet door. When you open the door, the yodel alarm will sound like this. Upon hearing this alarm, people in the compartment should vacate, because that means the CO2 system is about to be fired in that compartment.
If you see someone fall overboard, the first thing you should do is yell in a loud voice, "Man overboard!" Send someone to call the bridge. If a life ring is anywhere nearby, throw it to the person in the water, keep your eye on them, and continue to point. This will not only help other personnel on the ship locate the man overboard, it will help you keep the person in the water in sight.
Hello, bridge emergency. How can I assist you? Man overboard, port side. Okay, thank you very much. Benny, man overboard, port side. Throw the life ring and smoke signal right away. This is a navigation bridge. Man overboard, port side. Man overboard, port side. Standby emergency team number 1. Standby emergency team number 1.
If you encounter someone who's had an accident or medical emergency, the most important action you can take is to call the bridge. Dial 3333.
Sir, are you okay? We had a medical emergency. Please call the bridge, 3333.
An emergency is defined as a serious happening or a situation needing prompt action. The action required from you in such an event is to call for help. Call the bridge. The emergency number is 3333. The navigation bridge is manned 24 hours a day. Tell them who you are, what type of emergency, and where the emergency is. And don't forget, when you see an emergency, call the bridge. You'll receive more information at the conclusion of this video. If you have any questions about what you've just seen, please do not hesitate to ask. Thanks for your attention, and may your stay on board be a safe one. The operation of Crystal Harmony and Symphony is controlled by Bahamian and international regulations. These regulations are set by the International Maritime Organization, the IMO, a part of the United Nations, established to provide worldwide uniform standards for ships. The regulations utilize two main methods to promote safety. First, there are regulations that cover the design and construction of the ship and the supply of safety equipment such as life jackets, lifeboats, and fire extinguishers. Second, there's a set of regulations that cover the safe management and operation of ships and pollution prevention. This second set is the International Safety Management Code, which is more commonly known by its short name, the ISM Code. The objectives of the ISM Code are to ensure safety at sea, prevention of human injury or loss of life, avoidance of damage to the marine environment and property. To meet these objectives, the code requires that every company shall have a safety management system, which includes the following: a safety and environmental protection policy, authority and responsibilities of ship and shore personnel, instruction and procedures for safe operation of the ship and spill prevention, planning and response to emergencies, reporting accidents, near misses and non-conformities, and internal audits and management reviews. Crystal Cruise's safety management system is contained in a set of manuals which are located in key offices about the ship, including the captain's office, deck office, engine office, and hotel director's office. Partial sets of the SMS manuals are also maintained on the bridge, engine control room, and the medical center. In compliance with the ISM code, Crystal Cruises has appointed a Designated Person Ashore, or DPA. The DPA has direct access to the chairman of Crystal Cruises and is responsible for monitoring and following all safety-related issues, such as accident rates, near-miss or near-accident incidents, and also for ensuring suggestions to improve our safety and environmental performance are incorporated into our safety management system manuals. The designated person ashore is the Executive Vice President, Marine Operations. If you see anything on board regarding safety or the environment which concerns you, notify your supervisor immediately. You also have the right to bring the matter to the attention of the DPA if you wish. It is important for each officer, staff, and crew member to follow the standard procedures in Crystal's safety management system and not just do your own thing. It is the responsibility of each supervisor to ensure the people working for them have access and are trained in the procedures that affect them. Working together, we can ensure our ships will be operated in a safe and responsible way.
Think about it. We're at sea, 1,800 people, a fire starts. It starts to spread. Okay, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're around, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
What would you do if there were an emergency on board? How well would you be prepared to assist guests to safety in an emergency? The following video has been prepared to train you in procedures for assisting guests in emergency situations. This video will show you how to assist guests en route to muster and embarkation stations. It will familiarize you with mustering procedures, with particular emphasis on the importance of keeping order and reducing or avoiding panic among guests. We will show you how to guide, transport, and assist elderly, disabled, or injured persons. The first part of this training will be a general review of the ship, including the station bill and emergency plan, muster and embarkation stations, and emergency exits. The station bill, including the general layout of the ship as well as the emergency evacuation routes and emergency plans, are located in crew quarters and on the bridge. It is important that you as a crew member become familiar with these procedures in addition to your own responsibilities in your own section. Regular drills are held in order to ensure that all crew are familiar with their emergency stations and lifeboat stations. In addition, your life jacket contains this information. There are signs and arrows pointing to emergency exits throughout the ship, and escape routes are visible even in the dark with a low-level lighting system throughout the ships. Continuing training is vital for the safe, efficient, and professional operation of this ship. And even though some of these procedures and some of the specialized equipment are for use by designated personnel, it is important that all crew members know that such equipment and procedures are available and to be familiar with them. And now, assisting guests in an emergency. Research shows that 6 out of every 10 people will react to an emergency by doing nothing and will need help from a crew member. The following will demonstrate how to improve on those reactions. How guests respond in an emergency will be decided in great part by how they see the company, its ships, its officers, and crew on the first day while boarding the ship and attending the lifeboat drill.
Your way to the lifeboat station. Make all the lines just stretch back slightly so it's easier for your lifeboat.
If guests view that the ship is run in a responsibly high order, getting them to react to your orders in times of panic becomes much easier. In the event of an emergency, panic and possible injury may be lessened in great part because the crew has received credibility from their attitude and professionalism. The early stages of any emergency are the most critical, with people losing valuable time wondering if something unusual is happening. Panic during an emergency can be partly avoided by early warning and communication that contains sufficient information to help guests make a decision about what to do. If guests need to leave at all, they need to know why, how rapidly, and by which route, even what to wear, including warm clothing and life jackets, and a brief explanation of what's wrong. During an emergency, those designated to assist guests en route to muster and embarkation stations must have the ability to give clear and reassuring orders, which can be verbal instruction and/or hand signals. If you are a traffic director, you must wear traffic control vests over your life jacket. These vests are a symbol of authority and are reassuring to guests, particularly in time of panic. You should not assist guests with putting on life jackets in order to avoid confusion and obstruction of the flow of traffic toward the lifeboat stations. In addition, escape routes should be kept free at all times of any obstacles that might impede the orderly evacuation of the ship. The ship's personnel at the lifeboat stations will help guests with their life jackets if necessary. Even though alarms have been sounded and the general announcements have been made on the public address system, there could still be guests in their staterooms who didn't understand, didn't hear, or chose to ignore the evacuation announcements. Designated crew members are assigned to search each stateroom and are to put a towel on the door to signify that the stateroom has been checked.
Hello? Anybody in?
And is evacuated. During emergencies, designated elevators are to be used only to assist injured, disabled, and those needing special assistance. Imagine the following situation. Fire is detected on board the ship, and a stewardess calls the bridge or raises the alarm by breaking the emergency glass. The captain decides on evacuation and makes the announcements on the ship's public address system. Although many guests will react to the announcement, some people will do nothing, and individual staterooms need to be checked.
Hello? We have an emergency. You need to bring your life jackets and please follow
This
me.
is the appropriate time to tell guests
Come on.
to bring warm clothing and life jackets. If smoke is filling the hallways, the proper procedure is to get low and head to the escape route following the low-level lighting, which exists on all decks on all Crystal cruise ships. Direct guests to follow the arrows outside to the lifeboat stations. Traffic directors will show guests to their proper lifeboat stations. At the lifeboat stations, guests will be checked to make sure their life jackets are fastened properly. And in case some arrive without their life jackets, there are extra child and adult life jackets available on deck.
Line 828. Thank you.
Ship's personnel at the lifeboat stations will check off all guests against their manifest list to account for everyone. The names of guests who do not show up will be called to the bridge, and someone will be assigned to go to the staterooms to look for these guests. In addition, there's a list of those disabled or in need of special assistance kept on the bridge. Those staterooms should also have been checked, and these people assisted to their lifeboat stations. If necessary, blankets and other emergency equipment will be brought to the lifeboat stations. No emergency would go this smoothly, so you need to be prepared to handle any number of situations that might arise. For example, here is a guest who has become disoriented because of the emergency and won't move.
There's an emergency. We need to move to our lifeboat station. The alarms are sounding. We need to go now. There's an emergency. We need to go to our lifeboat station. Beto, can you help me, please?
Sure. Come on.
Come on.
You'll be right. Come on.
Let's go.
Just close.
You need to reassure the guest, be firm but calm, and if necessary, ask for assistance from another crew member. Remember, a very common reaction from guests will be to do nothing at all. They might not even believe that the emergency is real.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had to interrupt you again, but you do need to go to your emergency stations right now.
No.
We do have an emergency on board, and we do need you to go to the emergency stations. We have a problem that is major, and we do need to go to the emergency stations now.
Few minutes.
No, we have to go now. I insist for your own safety, we have to go now. Please.
I'm winning.
Not anymore.
It is possible that during an emergency, some guests could be impaired by alcohol or distracted in some way.
Excuse me, miss. There's an emergency on the ship.
Have another vodka cranberry.
There's an emergency on the ship. We need to get to our lifeboat stations.
Why?
And you can return to the machine after the emergency is over.
I have a lot of money in this machine.
You can return to it as soon as the emergency is over, but we really must go now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, one more spin, okay? One more spin.
One more, let's go. All right. That's great.
Yeah, okay, I gotta cash my money.
Miss, we must go. Sorry, come on.
Can I cash these in?
Right this way.
I want to cash these in.
You need to be very firm but calm in explaining the situation. Reassure the guests, but make it very clear they must evacuate with you, and if that fails, get some help from another crew member.
Sir, lifeboat station this way, please.
Perhaps the most common occurrence will be family members who get separated.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. The lifeboat stations are up to deck 7.
Where's my
Is
baby?
No.
I can't find it.
Everyone goes up to the lifeboat stations. You'll find your child there. That's where they send everyone. So if you turn around and go back up to the lifeboat station, that's where everyone will meet. That's the best place to find your child. Right up to the lifeboat station.
But I
Up
have
to
to
deck 7. Don't worry. If they find the child, they'll send them up to deck 7 and they'll put it right. I'm positive. Go ahead. Straight up to deck 7, please. Thank you. Straight up. Deck 7.
In this case, you need to reassure the guest that the fastest way to find their family member is to go to their lifeboat station, as their family members will be directed to do the same. During an emergency, guests should be directed to use the stairs and not the elevators to reach their lifeboat stations.
Can I go into
No,
this
you may not take the elevators, but if you go to deck 7, you'll meet your husband up there. That's where they'll send him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chances are, when there's an emergency, some people will panic, and that panic spreads with rumor and unwarranted speculation. It is a common reaction for people to seek familiar places or exits in times of emergency. It often means that people may try to move in directions opposite to the one you wish them to take. You should calmly but firmly usher them to the nearest stairs and up and out to the lifeboat stations. If you need help, ask other crew members to help you, especially those in uniform. As you've seen in all these situations, it's difficult to predict how people will react during an emergency. But planning and preparation are the best remedies for preventing panic and injury. Evacuation of a ship takes time, and during that time, guests must be confident that someone is taking care of them and their loved ones. As a crew member, you will have to be able to cope with anything, from helping those who are frozen with fear to preventing others from acting against the emergency plan. While it's well known that officers and crew often act heroically to help guests, the importance of training, management, and strong leadership can never be overstated. Crystal Cruises ships are equipped with state-of-the-art safety equipment, and the continuing training that you receive should help prepare you for almost any emergency.